about what are quickly becoming my two least favorite commentators. Now, there was a time when I loved both these guys. I used to love Bill Maher back in the day when he was a big Bernie supporter and stuff. I liked him. But I also used to love Stephen A. Smith when, I still think he's fun to watch when he talks about sports, even though he's probably wrong most of the time, even when talking sports. But he's an entertaining guy to watch.
That's crazy how everybody knows that about Stephen A. Smith. Damn. Stephen A. Smith, too, is like, you know that coworker that, like, literally takes all the shifts, like, does all the doubles? That's Stephen A. Smith. Anyway, guys, in this clip, we're going to watch Kyle Kulinski dismantle Bill Maher and Stephen A. Smith. They must have said something ridiculous. Bill Maher and Stephen A. Smith. They must have said something really ridiculous, and Kyle Kulinski is going to shred them. This is going to be my first time watching this clip, but let us watch Kyle Kulinski shred Stephen A. Smith and Bill Maher on the Secular Podcast. And let me just tell you this. I always say this about Bill Maher, these people. I mean, I'm sure Bill Maher is probably thinking about retirement soon or something like that. The kids, they're not doing a centrist confusion. You're either hard left or hard right at this point. I don't know what that means. I know what that means. I don't know where it's going, but guys, people are not trying to hear like the center flip-floppy kind of thing. That's why a lot of these people are having a hard time. These Stephen A. Smiths, Bill Mahers, Joe Rogans, and all of that. But let's get right into the clip.
But now, I despise these guys with a burning passion. As you're about to see here, they are routinely sucking rancid ass for us. So let's start with Bill Maher. Here he is. He's going to take a shot at Zoran and do some false equivalence between Democrats and Republicans. Take a look.
It seems to me that there are two pillars that this country is founded on. One is democracy, and one is capitalism, free markets.
There are two pillars this country's founded on, democracy and capitalism. Except we weren't really a democracy and we weren't really capitalist. Like, what are you talking about? How is it democracy when it was like, only old white men could own property and there was slavery all throughout the South? It was like an agrarian feudal.
We were not the only country with slavery, guys. Slavery is an infrastructure that went across the world. Sorry, I know it sounds weird for a channel like this. Listen, I'm going to always keep it real, and I always jump in at these moments. And I'm going to tell you why. It is important for me to make the distinction. I'm not saying people need to love slavery, but there was a long time I thought that only black people were slaves ever. And then I had to connect to that freaking struggle and hold on to that pain and be propagandized with that pain all my life, at least for a good 20 years. No, like, I'm not doing that anymore. Like, slavery was a infrastructure that every society, they worked with, okay? I'm not talking about the treatment of slaves. But it was an infrastructure, okay? So please.
Type society. You just made that up. Oh yeah, democracy and capitalism. Sure, I guess that's what this country's founded on. What?
One party wants to get rid of one, and the other party wants to get rid of the other. Right? The Republicans are not that. Democracy is just not number one on their list. It just isn't. It isn't. It's behind Christianity and a few other things. And the Democrats.
Yeah, that's the issue with the Democrats, is that the party as such is anti-capitalist. Jesus Christ, bro. I wish. Are you kidding me? This is still a party that takes a tremendous amount of money from, Wall Street and the military-industrial complex and corporations and, is in favor of small business tax.
And Jewish Zionist donors. If we could say that about Republicans, please don't leave Democrats out of it. They get money, too, from those people. What's that? Yo, I don't know. Maybe I'm in a mood. Kyle Kulinski's starting to, I don't know. Why wouldn't you say that part? Because you would say it for Republicans. But Democrats take money from them, too. That's why they all go to Israel. All of them. So please. That's the only time they agree is for Israel. Okay. Guys, if you like the clip, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and the notification bell. Thanks to every eye that lands on these videos. Let's go.
Cunts and all shit like that. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? With the number of democratic socialists that we have in Congress is what? Fewer than maybe 15? fewer than 15, right? Meanwhile, if you poll Democrats, it's like, what, 70% or something that have a positive view of democratic socialism. And so, like, it's not even representative of the base. Again, I wish, but that's not the case. All right, let's keep going.
And the Democrats, I mean, I read these 74% are for democratic socialism.
Yeah, that's what Bernie says his ideology is. So when people hear democratic socialism, what they think is universal health care, free college, a living wage, unions, paid vacation time by law. That's what people think about.
You know, they call it democratic socialism, I guess, to give it a certain name to make it, a little, to make it, palatable for people. But there was a system back in the 30s that had this type of talk, okay? And people, I'm not one of the, look, I believe in a form of socialism. I do. I absolutely do that. But that's what my taxes are supposed to be. So people who automatically are like, no, socialism, no, it's bad. Like, it's like, y'all are pulling taxes from me. I need to see the people get something out of it, and I don't. So that's why there's all this confusion about it.
So they're going to have that positive association when the most popular senator in the country is Bernie Sanders. He calls himself a democratic socialist. Now, by the way, to get a little technical, he actually is more of a social democrat than a democratic socialist. There's a little bit of a difference there, but people think
Bernie isn't anything. He gave money to Israel so they can kill Palestinians.
Think social democracy when they hear democratic socialist, and so of course they're going to like it.
16% favor capitalism. Is this going to be a country that I don't recognize in 5 to 10 years if we don't have these two pillars?
Yeah. The ancient multi-millionaire on HBO who's had a show since he was like fucking 30 years old, and he's now, 112? Turns out that guy loves capitalism. What a shocker. Isn't too concerned with the fact that the American dream has completely and utterly collapsed, that people have a ridiculous amount of student loan debt and credit card debt, and nobody can afford a fucking house anymore. Doesn't care about any of that because he's doing swell.
If we don't, where are the Democrats going with this? If Mondami is the...
Mondami. What is it with old white guys not being able to say Mamdani? Fucking Cuomo can't say it right. Bill Maher can't say it right. Mamdani.
Face of the Democrats on the East Coast, and Katie Porter is the face on the West Coast. I don't know if that's great politically for that party. It seems to me that
I love the fucking concern trolling, right? Bill, just say it. You don't like Zoran. Just say it. The idea of like, oh, what would this mean for the future of the party, and will this make us less viable? The motherfucker crushed in his election. He crushed. He did better than anybody thought, period. Like, he's a fucking superstar. Let's call it what it is. So don't fucking concern troll. Just say, hey, I don't like him. And the reason you don't like him is because maybe he would raise your taxes a little too much, Bill.
No, it's because he's Muslim. I'm not the dummy who's not going to say it. So, like, come on. Have you ever heard Bill Maher speak about Islam? I'm a Christian, by the way. And I only say this because I'm a Christian who doesn't think it makes me more Christian to speak against Islam. Bill Maher is not Christian. He says he's not Christian. But Bill Maher is like ethnically Jewish or something like that. Anyway. Back to Mamdani. I do not think Mamdani is a networker. Mamdani is a troll. And Mamdani has changed the face of campaigning. Whoever was behind him or whatever, I'll give him that. He definitely did. But he is a tool to the establishment. So Mamdani doesn't get me excited. The only thing that makes me a little, I guess, when he says, when they just get so worked up over him, I just laugh because I'm like, you guys are just ridiculous. Everybody's going to do the same thing. Or no matter which Democrat gets into New York, they're all going to do the same thing. This establishment sucks horrendously. He's already walking back a lot of the stuff that he said. It's just so fake. But yeah, but Bill Maher, I thought I was going to cover the Stephen A. Smith part, but I guess it's towards the end. But as he was complaining about Mamdani as well, it's because they get the talking points. Bill Maher doesn't need a talking point to complain about Mamdani. But Stephen A. Smith got the talking point to complain about Mamdani. So, it just, that's how it goes. You can't trust anybody. Nobody has opinions, bro. They just have talking points. I'm not complaining, though. Shout out to them. Get your money. Do whatever you got to do. Just be aware of that's what's going on. Watch them for entertainment, but draw your own conclusions. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. The establishment will still establish. I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye.